What are we thinking heading into this one, Todd Father? The Venezuela lineup has plenty of all-stars. They've got a little superstar mix like Ronald Acuna Jr. I'm waiting for him to go nuts. Jackson Churio in the 9 spot. That's pretty special. And then, of course, we know what Team USA has. And we haven't seen some of the USA guys blow up. Like last game, it was the youngins, right? You had Roman Anthony with a big homer, Gunnar Henderson with a big homer. Are we going to see, an Aaron Judge or a Bryce Harper who's been really quiet step up and put on a show? What are you thinking for this one? It should be Eduardo Rodriguez, and it's definitely against Nolan McLean on the other side to start it.
Yeah, I think first off, even with the rules, all hands on deck, I guess, whomever can go. So everybody's going to have to be ready in that instance. I think it's going to be USA's time to come out of their shell, like you said. And I think the big names are going to show up. I think the Bobby Witts are going to make the plays and diving plays left and right. You're going to see the Aaron Judges get underneath baseballs. You're going to see Bryce Harper maybe go opposite field because once he goes oppo, good things are coming. Yeah, I think it all starts with Bobby Witt. That's the guy, the straw that stirs the drink. You see when he doesn't get on base, not many runs are scored. So if this guy can find a way to get on base, which I think he will, eventually USA is going to take charge in this game. And I think they're going to have an outpour of runs, and I think they're going to show everybody why they're the number 1 team in the world tomorrow.
I think they're going to take advantage of the fact that Venezuela does not have enough in their bullpen. Unless there's some guys that are allowed on March 17th to do a back-to-back. Usually the back-to-backs are for like the last outing of spring training. And I know we're coming to the end of spring training here because the season opens on the 26th, but I have a hard time believing that Venezuela has all of their horses coming out of the bullpen. I'm not saying that they're not going to fight for it, but to me, that's where Team USA, they do take good long at-bats. They did strike out too much the last game, but they take long at-bats and are going to work those pitch counts up. And at some point, they're going to get to somebody in the pen that they're going to break it open against.
Can I ask you guys a question? Because there are 2 good closers on each side. Ken Rosenthal, along with other colleagues at The Athletic, came out with a story a few hours before the Venezuela-Italy game that said Mason Miller's not a definite. They're going to see how he's feeling ahead of the game. It would be his 3rd appearance in 5 days. The Padres are probably not thrilled with Mason Miller potentially appearing again, pumping 102 plus in the World Baseball Classic, all amped up. Mason Miller wants to pitch, but he also did talk about how he wants to be smart about it. So that's that situation. He is eligible, and I want to be clear on the rules here. Venezuela played and pitched Danny Palencia. You are allowed to pitch in back-to-back games. Rules-wise, in the tournament, do the Chicago Cubs try and hold him back from pitching? I personally don't think they can. I mean, I know that they can make a phone call and make it difficult for him. Danny Palencia is also one of the better guests we've had on Foul Territory. And he's like, I would die for this game, right? This is everything to him. And he's talking about a regular season MLB game. This is the World Baseball Classic final. Venezuela's in there for the first time. Country's been through a lot. A lot of the citizens are like living and dying for this game right now. Yeah. Palencia is going to pitch in my mind, right? I mean, some people are going to watch this video later on. We probably will already have an answer on that one. But in my mind, Todd Father, Palencia is going to make a phone call and be like, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for me. Cubs, please. And Omar Lopez has like snuck a comment in here and there during the tournament that he is going to try and push back against teams. There was one point where I think he said like a team asked for some rule and he was like, it's too late on the rule you're asking. Anyway, I think that they're going to say you can pitch. I think Mason Miller's going to pitch too if either of them are in save spots. But what do you think?
I don't think he makes the call. If I'm Omar, I'm not even making calls tonight. I'm having a few cervezas and I'm going to bed and my phone is off. The only person I'm calling is my family members and say, hey, here's your tickets, blah, blah, blah. They're going to keep ringing. Guess what? I didn't see it. Phone didn't work that day, So all jokes aside, I think say what you want to say, but these guys, it's going to be very hard to tell these guys, hey, man, you're not pitching tomorrow. Both sides, it's going to be very hard.
Yeah. I don't see that being an easy conversation. But the reality is, I still think the U.S. is a better team. I think the U.S. is a team that overtook a Dominican team that I thought was playing better and equaled their star power, and maybe even to the point where position by position you could have made the argument that they were better than the starting lineup for the Dominicans were better, and they came out on top. So I think the U.S. team is playing well, and I think they won that game without scoring many runs. So I think it could be something where this, they start putting some balls out of the ballpark too, especially when you start looking at some of the mashups. If it is Eduardo Rodriguez, you're going to have to get some pitches out of him. I'm not saying you need length, but you need some pitches because of the fact that while there may not be conversations, there's dudes that are definitely 100% down, and they are not pitching in the game tomorrow for Venezuela. No matter conversations or not, they're just physically not going to be able to.
Right. By the way, right now, USA is money line minus 285 on BetMGM. Todd Father plus 230 for Venezuela. So it's heavily tilted in the U.S. favor, coming off a day off, a day of rest. Some decisions. Let's do this. I'll give you two decisions to make. Third base and catcher. Gunnar Henderson coming off a big game, but you're going to have a lefty in Eduardo Rodriguez. Gunnar's a lefty and Bregman's a righty. And then also I'll give you the catcher decision. Will Smith, 3 for 10 in this World Baseball Classic, but he did catch in the last game. Cal Raleigh is 0 for 10 or 0 for 9, make it, in the World Baseball Classic. I mean, these are incredibly small sample sizes, but what would you do with those two spots if you're Mark DeRosa?
How about this? Since I'm played third base, he'll do the catcher one. I'll do the third base one. How about that?
Okay. Good deal.
All right. For me, I'm starting Alex Bregman. Left on right matchup. I think Gunnar Henderson is going to fully understand that. I know he looks good. He can ultimately do a switch. Like say in the 5th, 6th, 7th inning, they bring in a right-hander. You definitely put Gunnar Henderson in there. You gotta play with the matchups, in my opinion. You gotta play the game. You got to take all the psyche out of it and understand, listen, guys, we're trying to win this game. I want my best hitters up at the best possible times. Alex Bregman, been there before, veteran guy. I could see him having a really good game tomorrow against a left-handed pitcher. I would start Bregman for sure.
And I would concur, because if you look at the stat page against Eduardo Rodriguez, the most likely starter for Venezuela, number 8 all-time hits against Eduardo Rodriguez, Alex Bregman. He's got 9 hits and 27 at-bats, 3 dingers, 8 stakes. Yeah. So Gunner's hot. I get it. Bregman's not, but he's seen him well. Let's put it that way. And there's not much of a matchup. Cal Raleigh's 1 for 3 against Eduardo Rodriguez, and Will Smith, I think, is like 1 for 6 or 7. To me, I think Will Smith is the guy because of the fact that you can still bring Cal in and you don't lose any advantage if you do need to make a change. But I think Will proved that he's played well. I really think it's I think it's 50-50. 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. You're not going to make a wrong decision with either of those guys. They're both winners, and they both can put the ball in the seats at some point.
Who is going to start? Do you think it'll be
Will
Cal
Smith.
because – you think it'll be Will? I was going to say because they've been going basically every other. But, I mean, now they're coming off a day off here. It's not like a rest playing time situation. Also, you shouldn't be worried about that at this point. There's one game left. Are you worried that Cal Raleigh's not going to be ready for the season or something? It's not about that,
It's about the win. They're looking for the win. Again, I would maybe even – again, think about moving Harper down in the order somewhere. See what that could get you. But, I mean, I think we're splitting hairs. The reality is D-Row will stay out of the way. We know it's a must-win game. The players will play. They're going to be hyped for it.
Yeah. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be great. USA versus Dominican Republic was epic, and you can't ask for much better star power here in the lineups. We just saw it with USA, DR. Venezuela's had a really good run too. I know they lost the Dominican Republic at the end of pool play, but they beat the defending champs in Japan. They came back late. Italy had a strong ball club. They came back. I think this will be a good game. I know you guys are saying maybe USA opens things up. I don't know. I could see Venezuela's lineup keeping up with these guys too. Nolan McLean, let's finish with this, is a young pup. He's got sick stuff. And DeRosa can mostly go bullpen game here if he senses much trouble. This is almost going to have World Series Game 7 vibes. But Nolan McLean was shook a little bit. I don't know if that's the right way to put it, but Team Italy got to him. And if you're an American fan and that ends up being the problem, McLean getting in trouble early, giving up a few runs, it brings up the classic, hey, do we have the best, most battle-tested pitchers in this moment? Is this who we should have in this spot? I'm not going off of talent. Nolan McLean looks like he's going to be a number one and ace in the league. But we've seen a handful of starts in the big leagues so far. So this is by far the biggest game that he's ever pitched in his life. I mean, the scene in Miami is out of control, and you can embrace it and relish it. But Kratz, when you're working with a young pitcher like this, trying to navigate through a moment, you can see a Trey Savage moment, or sometimes the moment gets a little big and, you might overthrow.
You might spin that slider a little bit. I mean, the man can spin it. That slider is going to be going right to left. Are they going to chase? That's the biggest thing. If they're not chasing, then he's got to bring that slider onto the plate. And a strike slider is a hanging slider. I don't care if you're throwing to me or if you're throwing to the Venezuelan MVP lineup that they have out there. So to me, it really has to be, can he keep the ball on the plate and can he keep it down in the zone? And really, if he wants to know what the atmosphere is going to look like, we just got to go back to the last WBC in the semifinals. A lot of people forget that Venezuela was there. They had the U.S., and until Trey Turner hit that big home run, Venezuela was going to the finals. So it's nothing new for Venezuela because there's a lot of repeat guys on that team, and they're going to come out swinging. But if I look at the roster, if I look at the pitching roster, supposedly I thought Clay Holmes was taken off. Maybe I'm incorrect, but Clay Holmes is still on there.
No. I mean, you might be looking on paper on the roster, but I mean, he went back to Mets camp. I think he's done.
Because he didn't pitch, so he's another one. Because I saw him in the dugout, and I didn't know if he just did the whole Tarek Skubal thing, because in the last game, he was in the dugout. And the reason I say that is because Skubal was off this list. But the bullpen's rested. So even if McLean falters in the first inning, second inning, last game he struck out. I think he struck out the side to start the game off, and then he faltered. He might be allowed to give up 2 base runners, and then they're going right to the pen.
Yeah, and to putting a button on this too, USA, they got to hit. So 2 things got to combine for them. I think both will do well. But if USA is clicking on all cylinders, hitting, put the pressure on them early and often, could be a big, 3 innings in the beginning, could be 4-5-0 before you know it. And that's the plan. We'll see how it works out though, Scotty B.
I'm pumped. This is going to be good. We appreciate
on St. Patty's Day, baby.
Yeah, on St. Patty's Day. So, I mean, you got all kinds of cultures mixing and mashing together for this one. You got a little green beer, American flavor, Venezuela having, or about to watch the biggest game of their life if you're rooting for Venezuela. And it's all going down in a sold-out, packed house, Miami. And we'll have a post-game show after that one, too. So make sure you flip it right over to the FT YouTube channel afterward. You know what to do during it. It's Fox or it's Fox 1.